This is Maggio at Studio Anavami in Santa Cruz with the podcast Marking Into the Paradigm, an approach to creative process in visual arts that challenges perceptions of how we see the world. Marking into being is a studio process cultivating a larger perception of reality. Episode 10, Non-Duality, is from over 2 months' practice in the studio of exploring through marking and through exercises. It was an audacious practice, but had interesting results. The poet Louise Gluck says that breakage, whatever its cause, is a dark complement to the act of making. The one implies the other. The thing that is broken has particular authority over the act of change. I find this really interesting, and it makes me wonder if there are really lots of different ways of looking at something like duality and non-duality through experience, through the art materials. So we are stepping into the poetics of the imaginal realm, which, like nighttime dream space, has more flexibility in time and space than our everyday waking life. It offers a more fluid way of being. This differs from fantasy and fabrication when it takes place in the body through the senses. It is not from the brain or mental, but a vaster intelligence of the mind. It is feeling, sensing, and being instead of being driven by an idea or following some other dictates. It requires slowing down, getting used to not knowing by being open and curious. The imaginal realm offers insights, leaps of transcendence. It may offer resolution and integration, but that kind of goal is restrictive. Another name for this is reality shifting or shape shifting. We become like something else, a carpet, a potted palm tree, an animal. We take our time to perceive this something else in a particular environment and then embody through the sensual perceptions of the body. With micro movements, we further internalize the becoming in training to slowly feel like something other than ourselves. In the next episode, 11, Reality Shifting, we'll talk more about this in detail and how it is a phenomena on TikTok. We are well aware of who we are as we're doing this, so it requires a dual consciousness. It is surprising how this experience unfolds with practice. Eventually, you become more able to feel akin to other rather than being separate and as a center of everything around you. This is a dream work technique that does not interpret dreams but embodies them to let them further unfold. There is a palpable switch from habitual consciousness that can surprisingly lead to information, empathy, and regard for whatever you're focusing on. We are wired to label, judge, and resist much of what turns up in our day. Another practice we used in the non-duality was to nudge consciousness into the perspective of unity. By repeating a mantra to include, rather than separate out, we played with developing an attitude that nothing in this moment is excluded. It is to change what is usually perceived as opposite or contrary. It is a shift of perception. It is not to acquiesce. We can take action, protect ourselves, make decisions, but from the position that this is a part of the whole. To include means to give up any resistance. After several days, the results of accepting whatever shows up, there becomes a sense of a greater context. In our marking into being circle, we use art practice of marking to investigate further into duality, meaning open curiosity takes place of judgment. With these practices in and out of the studio, we often find surprising insights, like discovering something that has been avoided or even contested that we weren't aware of. With the inclusion, there is always new insights. The physical world is dualistic, with a constant separation for evaluation of the extremes: good, bad, just, unjust, safe, dangerous. That is needed to navigate. We find, however, we begin to transform much of the separation into unity by creating a larger container beyond how we constantly cut things up in order to control them. This was not theoretical, but was beginning to be felt in the body. Even as all structures, including language, reflect duality, this practice confirmed a sense that we do know wholeness, and unity, and congruency beyond our habit of separation. Not only wholeness, but a sense that we are not only much greater than we have ever imagined, but that we also are an integral part of the whole. Even as individuals in the physical reality, with its dualism, we are immersed in a greater whole. The practice is in crafting the attitude to create a different kind of relationship with matter, not just materials. Not the relationship that we have grown accustomed to, but intimate, give-take relationship. We are really not separate. With the creative process through the materials, it is really not one of separation in order to control. Through the exercises of deep time and space, we reach that layer of reality that throws light on the illusion that self-agency and division from the whole is the only reality. Playing with the perception that all opposites are actually complementary helps to develop the skill to shift out of the dominant reality. This stretch of perception creates a deeper relational field with greater empathy and belonging in the world. Rather than an abstract idea, we begin to feel a part of the relational field that is inside us rather than out there. And then at the same time, we are within it as it is within us. In the creative process, as the poet Louise Gluck suggests, the breakage has particular authority over the act of change. Rather than a process of fixing what is so-called broken, it can change from one of polarization to mutual creativity. Thank you for listening to the podcast.